just want to say, I went to P&A yesterday, and Walton's. I saw a circle stencil at Walton's. I think it was 40 something rand, but P&A should have as well. Then I may or may not have seen something that looks like this, and I thought of you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but you get that's cheaper. The orange one's a little bit cheaper. This one. Tape. Solid tape. Okay. What thing? And I think orange one. Why is it not open? Okay, but I didn't show you this. I just, by chance, had it on my phone. Then I also got a very cheap. Yeah, it's a compass. I told you that you must have one for backup, didn't I? Okay. So this one was 55.99. A compass. 55.99. But I know the value code has it for 30 something. And then they have one with this clutch pencil, where this one's just a plain pencil. So rather go and have a look there. At the value code. Is it value code? Yeah, and there's another one at New Red Roof. Yes. I know there's one in Eastgate as well. At the bottom by the banks. Is there one by Southgate? Okay. And it's a little ruler. Okay, but anyways, so this will be your question 3 in your exam. Sorry, question 4, your last question. Yes, this one counts between 89 to 97 marks. Your paper will count 200. Okay. Yes. No. This term, yes, 1 hour. But your exam is going to be 3 hours. But 3 hours you're going to feel is not enough.
It's not. Once you give up,
yeah, but you know, those who are finishing early, they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, if you do this question, you've given up on everything else, and you just do this question, and you pass it very well, you basically pass your exam. Okay. This will be between 89 to 97-ish marks in a 200 paper, so that's almost half of the marks. Okay, so this one's important. Okay, there's always a question that counts a lot. This is for paper 2. Paper 1 is then your floor plans. So paper 2, this we call a mechanical assembly. Okay, you will always get a parts list telling you how many of each part will you need. We have a pictorial diagram showing how everything's going to fit together. So a lot of the times people don't know or can't see how is this going to fit. It doesn't make sense. Then you go and have a look at this. Sometimes we throw a curveball and don't include this one. Okay. But I'll tell you how you can still figure it out. So looking at this, we can see that we have like a base. This is a key. We call it a Woodruff key. Woodruff is just based on the shape. Then we have an arm of some sort. It looks like the key's going to fit in there. The arm will go on top. Then we have a washer, will go on top, and we have a lock nut, which will go on top. Okay.
So
Yes.
this as it is before.
2D. We're going to draw it flat. Yeah. So if you focused very well, you would have seen that it's similar to your course drawing. Here you have it already assembled, where you have the base, an arm of some sort, the washer, and this will then be lock nut. Okay, so we're basically drawing this. Okay. Instructions. The given information is a pictorial view that shows the components of a swivel arm that must be assembled. The various components of the swivel arm in third angle orthographic projection. So this side of my page is the third angle orthographic projection side. Okay, in your question 1, if we ask you what type of projection is used, paper 2, always third angle. And if you forgot how the symbol looks like, just page 2 your other pages, the symbol will be there somewhere. Okay, so there's your symbol indicating third angle. Third angle meaning top is top, front is at the bottom of the top view, left is on the left side, right is on the right side. Okay, instructions. Draw the following views of the fully assembled swivel arm to a scale of 1 to 1 in third angle orthographic projection. Then you'll see there's 3 ticks, meaning there's 3 things that we need to do. First thing is we need to draw a full sectional front view. On that front view, we need to show the lock nut showing 3 faces, so meaning 1, 2, 3 sides. Then, all constructions for the lock nut must be shown. Label the sectional front view. Show the sectional line for the sectional front view on the right view. Okay, next thing that we need to draw is a right view, no hidden detail is needed. Top view, no hidden detail must be shown. Insert the following on the drawing. 5 dimensions, all center lines, title, scale, and projection symbol in the space provided. Okay, before I start, I usually like to organize this in my brain to understand what's going on. It's like building a puzzle. If you think about maybe a Lego set of some or other shape or form. So these are my Lego pieces, the puzzle pieces, that I need to put together to have a complete picture. These are the pieces lying on my table, and I need to sort them out. What is top, what is front, what is left, what is right. So that if I get, for example, this one, and I think it's a right view, but it's actually a front view, that I don't draw it wrong on my sketch. You know, if you build a puzzle, you would take all of the straight edges and put it to one side, and all of these colors would go to one side, and then you start building a puzzle. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to label, highlight, make marks, make notes on this page. Your marker will never use this page or look at this page. They only go to your answer. So this page is yours to do with as you please. So looking at my first part, these 2 are the same thing. So you're saying this one's top view. What will this be then? So this one's top view. So if you think about the layout, you have a top view, front view, left view. Next to each other, you have a top view at the top. What will be below the top view? Front view. Okay. Whenever you see something on top of each other, you can automatically assume top and front. When it's next to each other, it's either left or front and right. Okay. This bottom one, we only have one part, so only one view. What is it? Say again. Front. Okay, if you are unsure, look at your pictorial view. At the bottom it says front view, and it's pointing an arrow showing you what is the front view. I'm just going to highlight it so that I remember. Okay, next part, the Woodruff key. What's this one? Say again. What side? Left. Right. Okay, look at your sketch here. The front view is pointing in this direction. And you look at your key. Okay, it's your front view. So, looking in this direction, looking at the curve, I'll see the front view as the curve. Then if I look in this direction, I'll see the flat side, which is the right view. Okay, so this will be front, right. What is the washer? The washer. Okay, I'm going to take the front for argument's sake, but you can say it's left or it's right, because all the sides are going to look the same. And the lock nut. Front view. Okay. Because if I'm looking in this direction, I would see side 1, 2, and 3. If I'm looking like this. Okay, and I have side 1, 2, 3. You won't need to draw a nut or bolt 3D ever. Well, they want the front side to be this side. Right. Now that it's organized, I know what is front, I know what is top, I know what is right and left and top and bottom. Now looking at the parts list, I need to know how many of them there will be. So sometimes, for example, they'll give you a nut, a lock nut, and then in the parts list they will say there's 5. So then you're going to need to be able to draw 5 of them. And then maybe the washer, if there's 5 nuts, there might be 5 washers. So we need to have a look at this, just familiarize ourselves with what they want. Body, only 1, swivel arm 1, washer 1, lock nut 1, Woodruff key, only 1. Okay. So, on your answer page, you have a blank space, an isometric view, just to help you picture how everything will fit together. And because we need to add a full sectional front view, they are showing us what this section will look like. Okay, you will not get this ever again. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so this is just there to help you because it's your first one. Okay, then you have a space for title, scale, and symbol. What is our title? Swivel arm. Okay, so I'm going to write that in the title. If you don't know where I got it, it's here in bold, swivel arm. what is our scale? 1 to 1. Symbol is on the page. Over there. Okay, I'm going to need a center line. Center line is a long line, short line, long line, short line. Chicken scratch. Cross-hatching. Yeah. We usually call it, I think, if it is what you are saying, when you, okay, we call it hairy lines. Yeah. From the center line 10 and then 10. From the circle 10.
At the end of the circle.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see there I drew from the center. But then there is fancy stencils that has this as an option as well. I just don't have that with me. Okay, so title is swivel arms, scale is 1 to 1, and then we have our symbol. Now, the biggest mistake that you can make is to start your sketch on the wrong spot on your page. Okay. Luckily, we have an A, but we don't always give you an A.
Why?
Because you start to become big boys and big girls, and you should be able to do it on your own. Okay. Okay, so then what happens in the exam is you start your front view too low, and all of a sudden you have a hook at the bottom of your sketch, and you have no more space for it. You cannot erase and start all over. There's not enough time.
So you can start it anyway.
No. So in the future, if you see, for example, I have this part and I have the arm that goes on top of it, so my widest would be from here to where the arm ends. I'm going to need to go and calculate how wide is this part. So you take the 83 plus 9 from the circle plus half of this, which is 45, 67, 47. And then you make sure that it will fit. And then you'll still have space for your right view, if you need to add a right view. Okay, but I'll show you this when we get to a question like that. Luckily we have an A. So I'm just showing you where it is.
So when you said top, front, plus, top plus front plus front.
A what? Earphones. selected over here. We need to use this for front view, and they ask for full sectional front view. So we need to cut this thing all the way through. So I'm going to start over here, and if I look at how high should this part be, how high should I go up? 11. Okay, I'm just testing that you know where to look. And then the width?
94 plus
94. Okay. So I'm going to start with that. So if you want to work ahead, don't train yourself to wait for me to tell you what to do next. Push yourself to draw it faster than I'm drawing it, because I'll be at a slow pace to make sure that everyone is working with. Okay, so you said 11 up, 94 to the side. I wouldn't yet until I know what will be dark after it's sectioned. So it's still construction lines. I'm just showing, I'm going to use a black for my final lines. Where's my... So remember I said that this is like building a puzzle. This is now piece number 1. And I just need to put piece number 1 in the right spot. The right spot meaning it needs to touch A. So I'm copying measurement by measurement. I'm going to give you a trick here and there. Firstly, we need a center line. Again, you don't have to wait for me or listen to me. If you know what to do, do it. I'm going to start with a center line, so I'm going to divide 94 into 2. Giving me 47. And then with that center line, I'll be able to get the center line for these 2 counter bores. So it is 4 holes on PCD 70. So PCD means pitch circle diameter. So basically this is just diameter 70. So half of 70 is 35, so I'm going to go 35 to the left, 35 to the right. To get the thickness of these holes, it is diameter 8. So I'm going to divide 8 into 2, go 4 to the left, 4 to the right. So on the center lines here, yeah, where? Yeah. Where? How? DCD stands for diameter, so I can literally just change this to diameter, 70. So taking half of 70, which is 35. Yes. 35 to the left, 35 to the right, then I got these center lines. From them, I'm going to go 4 to the left, 4 to the right. Okay, then for this top part, it says it's 16 millimeters wide, so I'm going to take half of 16, divide by 2, so it's 8. 8 to the left, 8 to the right. Circles are at the bottom. Then it goes down 3 millimeters. So from the top, I'm going to measure 3 going down. Just darkening it partly so that you can see what is going on. So these things that we've just drawn is these holes and cavities. It's going to go down 16. And it is 28 millimeters wide. Divide by 2 is 14. Just double check me. Okay. So 14 to the left, 14 to the right. So what I do is I put 14, the number 14, on my center line. And then I make a mark by 0 and a mark by 28. Then it says 2 times 45 degrees. You're not going to times the 45 with anything. It just means this height is 2 and then the angle is 45. Hello. So from the bottom I'm going to go 2 millimeters up. And I'm going to cut it at an angle of 45. And then they will be 16 millimeters long. Oh, wow. Which one?
Just the one. The one that's not bent. As long as it's still like a millimeters.
Yep. This piece is 2. From the bottom measuring up 2 millimeters. Okay, then you'll see that there is a curve connecting this bottom to this top side. And then it says it's radius 4. So there's a quick way of doing it, and then there's the right way of doing it. So I'm going to show you the right way first, and then I'll show you the quick way. So the right way is to take your compass. And then as soon as my compass has to be closed to any angle smaller than this, I start panicking, hyperventilating, getting grey hair and a stiff neck. Because the compass always slips for some other reason. It opens up or closes without me wanting it to. It has something against me. Okay. And now, because this thing says radius 4, I need to put 4 millimeters on my compass. So, that's the quick one. So, yes, that's the quick way. I'm going to show you a trick to the circles. I just have to show you this first. Okay, so to get your curve, you're going to put your sharp point in the corner where you need the curve. And then, because I have grade 11s no, grade 12s. No, it was a grade 11. Who don't have a circle stencil. No, in the other key. So I have to show it. Okay, sorry. Sharp point in the corner that you want to cut. Then you make a mark on both lines where the circle needs to touch. Then you put your sharp point where it crosses the line. You're going to make a mark towards the center. You see? Grey hair starting to form. Then you go to the next one. And you make a mark so that it crosses. Then you put your sharp point where they cross and you draw a curve. Okay, and then you need a massage and you need to go for therapy. Okay, so quick way is to use a circle stencil. But my circle stencil is missing. So I'm using this illegal device. And I'm going to look at the diameter. So when you're working with your compass, you always work with radius, half of the measurement. When you work with your stencil, you're going to work with diameter, 2 times the measurement, or the full measurement. So in this case, it says radius 4, so I need to work with diameter 8. Yes, so the proper way to do it is to put your circle stencil on your ruler, move the ruler, line everything up with where the center needs to go. But what I do, and it's a case of do what I say, don't do what I do. But I'm showing you what I'm doing. Okay. I put my circle, so I'm using 8. Firstly, I want the circle to be here. I'm using diameter 8. So I'm moving the circle to touch both lines. It's touching this top, and it's touching the side. And then I'm just going to draw a quarter of the curve. It's much quicker. Circle section. So the chicken. So this area. All of them. And Ms. Libber and Mrs. Ianse van Rensburg goes more. Stars for the inter-high. for the parts at the top, I'm also going to need the radius 4 curve, also 28 wide. So I'm going to add the curve before I get to my height. Okay, height is 26. Okay, so because this is something that's not really supposed to be hatched or sectioned, but there's information on the inside, I'm going to give it a part section. So to do that, I'm going to draw a freehand line anywhere where you want to show the information. So then I'm going to hatch on the inside of this curve. So it's almost like a speech bubble where you give it a little bit of extra information. This is now our speech bubble, and I'm going to hatch equal amounts apart. I want to show you a trick on how to make sure that your lines are equal amounts apart. Yes. Freehand. My eye is trained to be able to see. I'm supposed to say yes.
What happens if it's like slightly, like there's one line that's slightly over?
So the rule of thumb is, if you have full marks, but the sketch is not 100% perfect, then you can only get 99%. Even though everything's correct, but there's one small thing that's not perfect. I can't give you that now. So just to make sure, if it's in the test, and I'm not telling you this, but if it's in the test, you don't have time. You hatch, to hatch, get a mark for the right hatching. That's for the right spacing. Not in this question, in my lifetime, like while I was here, and it's I think 6 years. Not in this question, but in the others, yes. Okay, so my trick is I look at my small short lines, medium lines, and long lines, and sometimes the end of the letters. So when you have multiple parts together that's being sectioned, you have to alternate the direction in which you section. So sometimes you have multiple directions, then you have to vary the spaces. So the smaller an item is, the closer the spaces need to be together. The larger the item, the further it can be away. So in my case, I'm just going to show you by looking at the small lines. So I'm going to start with a line. Then I'm going to move my ruler so that the small lines rest on that line. Then I draw another line. Then I move the ruler. Okay, yesterday we stopped where we got this piece, and I got it by going 10 to the left, 10 to the right, and then I just connected the top and the bottom corners. next piece goes up 14 and it is 16 millimeters wide. How do I know it's 16? Because of the M. How wide is the thread? Now, how wide is it? According to the... Two. I have a short, tiny one. Okay, 2 millimeters, because it says M 16 times 2. The middle bit, this piece. It goes up 26. Yeah, and then it's 20 wide. So 10 to the left, 10 to the right for the top part. Another part section. Can I do that now and explain, or should I wait a minute before I explain? Can I?
Oh wait, no, I think I did. 30 millimeters outwards and then you make a circle of the numbers that they gave you.
Yeah, but it has to be the same angle as this. Okay, so you're going to need 2 rulers for that. Any two. So one should be a triangle of any size and the other one should be at least a ruler. I'm going to use both triangles. And you're also going to need your compass. Okay, so I'm keeping these parts still in construction lines because there's other pieces that will fit over it. So I need to make sure that nothing will be hidden before I darken the lines. Okay, so if you want to work at a specific angle, and you want to keep that angle but just move it up a little bit, then you're going to use this trick. So I start by, let's take this one. I line my ruler up with the angle that I want. Okay, I want this angle. Then I take another ruler, any ruler, straight ruler preferably, or plain ruler. No, I prefer the triangle, but it's a little bit more fiddly. Okay, so let's use the triangle. So I hold on to this one, I keep it in place, and I put another ruler at the bottom of it. So right up against it. Then I hold on to this ruler, and I can let go of the one at the top, and then I can move it. And then the angle will stay. So I know that I need to move up 3 millimeters. So the good thing with using your ruler at the bottom is you have measurements here. So I can just move it up 3 millimeters. And then draw a center line. Should I repeat this? Okay. So I'm just going to zoom out completely. So I'm taking one ruler. I'm going to take a different one so that you can see it works either way. Okay. I put one of the sides up against the angle that I want. Then I put another ruler. I'm holding on to this one, keeping it in place. Put another ruler at the bottom. Then the bottom one must stay. So I'll move the triangle on the bottom one. Okay. If you don't have measurements on this side, then what I would do is I would measure 3 millimeters on 2 sides and then move it to fit. Or let's say, because I know sometimes you plot the ruler and it doesn't make sense on how. Okay, so like this. The ruler is plotted, but there's nothing at the bottom to move. Then when I hold on to this one, I'm going to put a ruler at the top. Hold on to the top one, and then I can move it. Just upside down. Okay, then to get the center, you can measure, divide the measurement into 2 and then plot the measurement. Or if you are lazy, you take your compass and you open up to anything more than half. And you draw half a circle. You measure the length, divide the measurement by 2, and then you plot the measurement. But sometimes it's a comma, something, something, and then it's not accurate.
So is this what happened?
Yeah.
So
Any measurement more than half. Then you draw half a circle. Put your sharp point on the other side of the line on the drawing, because I want the half of this line. So sharp point on the one end, draw a circle. Sharp point on the other end, still with the same measurement on the compass, going to draw half a circle. It's going to cross over 2 places. Then I'm going to place my ruler so that it touches the two spots. And that will then be the other center line. So this will be 90 degrees. The level to do that. It will lie onto this cavity. You'll see the swivel arm will have a slot perfect for that to fit in. Okay, so the circle of the hole is radius 7 times 5. So the 5 is the thickness, the 7 is for the circle. So I'm going to put 7 on my compass. Then I I put my sharp point on the center line. Okay, 7 on your compass. Then you look at the center line that you just created, where they cross, that's where you put your sharp point, and then you draw in your curve. But I only need it up until the edge of the frame.
And what number is it on that stencil?
14. Okay, with a stencil, you will have a line that indicates your center. So it will either be little dots or a line. So you're going to line your circle up. So we're using 14. Don't have a 14. You're lining it up skew with the new center line that you drew. So this one lines up here, and that one lines up there. Hi. Alle mense weet wat ek weet. Soos dat ek 'n boek het. So as jy vrou moeilik is, as jy net vir wat ek voor gesê ek het vir jou 'n boek dat skryf soos hy weet. Not yet, because we're going to have a key sitting here. Okay, then you'll see there's a part section giving us extra information. So just freehand line, and then I'm going to hatch on the inside. Okay, this is still the same part as this one. So I need to hatch in the same direction. Yeah, the curve is freehand. What's next? What do you want to add? What? Swivel up. Part number 2. Oh, we're still busy with the front view. We need to pick either because we've only drawn this part. On top of this part, we have the key and the swivel arm and the washer and the locket. So we need to show that. But what do you want to draw next? Either the key or the swivel arm? Yeah, we need to do all of it. Yeah, it's really building a puzzle. Is it okay if we do the key then? Okay. Sorry? Okay, the key you'll see is radius 7. But this time, instead of only letting the line go to the body of 1, it will continue for half a circle. So still radius 7 on the compass, sharp point on the center line.
So when you continue that circle, with this pencil it's still 14, right?
Still 14. But this time it's going out a little bit. Because this hole didn't have the extra going towards number 3. But this one goes all the way to the center line. Yes, so this is then what the key will look like. Yes. Okay, so without the key, so this thing is the key. Without it, there's only a little dent in the part. So because we are adding this thing that's from the center line to the center line, we need to add it from the center line to the center line. Okay, so we're basically putting that piece of metal into the other piece of metal, drawing it next to each other. Yeah, or with your compass. Okay, so part number 1 is done. What I like to do is, what I like to do is I check my parts list and then I tick them off. Part 1, done. Part 5 was the woodruff key. That's done. office?
Like about that next story. Are we gonna do this? This one is we're gonna put check. We're gonna start this.
someone where I said that I will get to you and I forgot to get to you? Okay, so part 5 is done. Next part. Okay, looking at this picture, part 1 is in its spot. Next one is part 2. Part 2 will slide over this section. You'll see that part 2 has a tapered hole on the inside. You just angle them a little bit closed. Not fully closed, otherwise we might die of the heat, but just for the noise. Okay. Inside this hole, you'll see there's a space that's 3 millimeters wide. So this is for the key to slide into. We call it the keyway. You'll see it's a little cavity. It's to keep this part and the arm in place. So the key is just like a little wedge keeping everything together. From this side to this side. This. Okay, so this we can't get until we have that point. So we're going to draw everything except for this piece, so that when we get our top view, then we can just project it down. Yes. Okay, so everything is not stacking on top. Everything's stacking inside of each other. Okay, so this cavity here, it's what, 28 and 20 will fit into this slot, 28 and 20. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. The size of this block is 42 in diameter, so I'm going to go 21 to the left, 21 to the right, but I'm going to only focus on this height because it won't go further down. This 20 is going to stop it. The height is 26, which you'll see is also the same height as this. So 21 to the left, 21 to the right. Okay, so now I'm just copying this part, but on this height. So again, if you can work ahead, try to work ahead, just copy this part. So this piece goes down 9 millimeters. And then remember, this is going to be a full section. So it means that we are going to cut straight through this piece. So half of it's going to go away, meaning that all of the construction lines is going to become solid lines. Okay, so it means dark line, this is a dark line, and then that will also have a dark line. Then, to get my second center line to start drawing this part, I'm going to go 83 from the previous center line to the right side. 83. Yes, from the center line, 83 to the right. Then it says it starts 19 millimeters from the second center line. And it goes up 9. Yes, from here 19 going to the left. And then it goes up 9. Okay, so this is 9. This is 9. From this top line, 9 up, 9 down. Okay, looking at the sketch, it says here 9 up, 9 down, but then there's a little piece at the bottom as well. In total, the whole thing must be 22. So I'm going to go to my top 9 line, and I'm going to measure 22 down. So from my top 9 line, I measure 22 down. this bottom piece, it says it is diameter 18, this bottom part. So I'm going to go 9 to the left, 9 to the right. Nine to the left, 9 to the right. Say again. Diameter 18. Okay, then I'm just darkening my lines. And I can add that angle support, connecting the bottom corner with this corner up here. Okay, then we need a hole. That's diameter 8. So I'm going to go 4 to the left, 4 to the right. And because we're sectioning it, I'm going to draw it as a solid dark line. Now we have two parts on each other, or going through each other, that's being hatched. So because this one runs in this direction, I need to let this one go in the opposite direction. This part, all the hatching runs like this. So the other one must turn now. Okay, to prove that it is two different parts. Okay. We don't cut through a support, so I'm not gonna hatch this piece. From where? You'll see over here it says it's diameter 42, so you divide it by 2, so 21 to the left, and then up here it says 83, so from the center line to center line 83. have diameter 18, so it will be 9 from the center line to the edge.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Part number 2 is done. Okay, next piece. Looking at this, we have the washer that goes on top and then the lock nut. So I'm going to start with the washer, part number 3. You'll see it has a hole that's diameter 16, and our thread up here is diameter 16. So it will fit right over this. The width is 30, so I'm going to go 15 to the left, 15 to the right. And it goes up 3. Yeah, by the washer. From the center, it's 15 to the left, 15 to the right. I'm going to wait with my lock nut until I have my top view of the lock nut. So I'm just going to prepare my page to be able to draw my top view. So to do that, I usually like to keep a 10 millimeter gap, and then I have my XY line, then another 10 millimeter gap, then that will be a space on where I'm going to start with my top view. Sorry? 10 millimeters. So, you don't have to, but whatever you use must be repeated. If you use 15, then it's 15, 15. And then on the right side it will be 15, 15. But I always use 10. It's how I was taught. Yes. So remember when I talk about your layout, I draw this and then I say, okay, your top view is at the top, your front view is below it, left is left, right is right. So these dark lines is this dark line. I just use equal amounts of space in between to keep it neat. Technically you can draw on top of the line, but then everything will look smooshed. Okay, and then before I stop for today, I'm just going to project my center lines up, and then my page is ready to start my top view on Monday. The top view of this piece will look like a circle. And the diameter of the circle, the outside one, is 94. And I can see that's going to be my widest piece on the top view. So I'm going to take half of 94, which is what, 47. Yes, 47. Okay, that will then be my horizontal center line. It's the 94 at the bottom, divide by 2. Yeah. Okay, this is where I'm going to stop for today. If you want to, you can carry on. You're going to project most of the information up. Or if you want to finish your front view now, just to get your lock nut, you're going to draw your lock nut using the center line, the top view.